So welcome everybody to our next CPD Live, which is with David O'Keefe, who is an experienced tutor and educator who is specialising in engaging group tuition and helping tutors to create dynamic learning environments that really capture students' attention. We were both wondering this morning if you would all be happy to have your cameras on, just so that we can really make sure we're as engaging as possible, and that we can see all of your lovely faces if you are okay to, just for this session. But yes, welcome David, over to you.
Lovely. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm David. I have been an independent tutor since 2022. Previously, I was a deputy head teacher and an advisory teacher for local authority, and teaching for 20 years. I'm very honoured this year to be the TTA Primary Tutor of the Year, and previously, before that, as a class teacher, awarded for academic excellence and innovation. So yeah, that is a little bit about me. And I will talk, before we go into anything too much, I will have a small talk about my kind of philosophy of teaching. My philosophy is, I've always said, as a school leader, or as a class teacher, think of myself as teaching, but inspiring. I want to inspire people to want to learn. And how I feel about doing that is that I start with the child, not the content. I don't think I'm teaching this today. I think I'm teaching a child today. What do they need and what am I giving them? I tend to prioritize feelings over thoughts. I'm very much focused on how children feel when they learn, and how those feelings affect how they engage. My aim is for enjoyment of learning over results. And I know sometimes that can be a bit controversial, but what I have found is if children are enjoying it, the results happen as a byproduct of that really easily. When engagement comes first, progress simply follows. So a few things we're going to do today. We'll have a quick reflection on what engagement is like and what gets in the way of it. Hopefully, we will discuss some practical ways to create that engagement, trust, belonging, participation in a session. I'm very, I love creativity. I like to explore how creativity can be used to deepen engagement. My background is actually, I have a music degree, and I worked for a creative arts charity that took the creative arts into settings like young offenders institutes, into children's hospitals and hospices, homeless people, using the creative arts to engage people. And I hope that people will leave with one kind of clear next step, or one idea or something that you want to move forward in your group sessions, whether you do them already or you're thinking about moving into them. So as Sam said, it would really help me if you have your camera turned on. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, that is not a problem at all. But if we're talking about engagement, I can see your faces on my screen over here. Faces are so important to see whether how people are interacting, if there's something that needs to change, if you can see that someone is feeling uncomfortable or someone has a question or things like that, seeing faces helps. If you can engage with our tasks today, I would be most pleased with that. And what I quite often ask my children to do, and I'm asking you to do today, can you give me your best hour today? If you're going to have 1 hour today that you are at your best, can it be this hour? I'm going to try and give you my best hour today, and it will really help me if you give me your best. So we're going to do something now. And again, to show engagement, if you've got your phone near you, I hope, if you might be watching this on your phone, but if you've got your phone near you, I'm going to do a poll, but it's a slightly different one. So I'm just saying in one word, you can use more than one word if you would like. What does disengaged look like in your setting? So if you've got a child that's disengaging, what does it look like? Now, what I'd like you to do with your phone, can you scan this QR code? So open up your camera, tap the QR code, and go to, it will come up and it will just ask you to type something. So type me a word or a short few words that tell me what disengage looks like in your setting. Great. Passive, absolutely. Passive is one. Oh yes, grunts. I've had that this week. Yep, blank faces, long pause. Head down is the worst one. What do you do with a head down? Yawns. Yep. Playing up. I can't imagine teens on phones. Schools must have it very hard at the moment. Yeah, distant, quiet. Yeah, looking away. Yeah, all of these things. Yeah, withdrawn, distant. Tears. And in fact, tears can be, yeah, no facial expressions. Wonderful. So, well, not wonderful, because I think we've all seen these things when we have been teaching sessions. So hopefully today, yeah, absolutely. Going off topic, I don't know. I'm sure that a lot of you, I know I definitely am. I am experiencing far more people with ADHD and attention difficulties, and disengaged looks different for them. It isn't necessarily the yawning and the not paying attention. It is actually more off topic, and it's trying to keep them on topic. Some of these things could be down to, you know, lack of sleep. Some of it could actually be down to lack of confidence or lack of self-belief, all of these things. So really interesting to get what that looks like for you. First thing I'm going to talk about today is what re-engages people the quickest. Okay, I'm going to talk about low risk tasks, short games, and creative tasks. Those are my three main things. Obviously, if things are really bad in terms of engagement, it may require a one-to-one check-in. You know, is everything okay? What's going on today? Did you have a good sleep last night? You know, there might be something. But we're going to start with low risk tasks. So a low risk task is something that I start every session with. It is something generally that requires no prior knowledge of what we're doing. So I wouldn't say, right, come in, sit down. We're going to do, right, I want you to write this many facts you know about this, or I want you to answer these sums, because sometimes that creates pressure. It puts people on the back foot. These low-risk tasks, the aim of them is to boost confidence, to make children feel safe, to be a bit playful. There's not being assessed on it, no pressure. So it generally requires no prior knowledge of what we're doing, or very little. So we are going to be today, we're going to be, I'm sure most of you will have seen these, Blookit. Blookit is a wonderful online question game where you can have lots of different questions. Now you'll notice my theme that I'm doing at the moment is Wonka. So my first activity that I'd like to do with my Wonka is a Blookit. So first thing that I would like you to do, again, you can do this on your phone. So you can grab your phone and you can scan the QR code. Or you can, if you want to, you can go to the website. It's blookit.com. You need to click join a game, and then you need to type in that code, 2994527. Does it say no game?
No game for me.
Is it? Hang on, I might need to do a new code. It says no game, does it? Does it work for it? Let's just have...
It's working.
Oh, good.
Oh, no, no game. Sorry. Apologies.
No game. Okay, 2 seconds. I'm just going to reload it and we'll give it a go. Gotta love the technology. So.
Oh, yeah, no game.
No, it's okay. 2 seconds. I'll get you a new code. So, so the game that we are going to be doing is called Gold Quest, and I will explain this to you. So there we go. I'm going to go host now. So I'm going to give you a new code. It should. There we go. Right. Okay, so I'm just going to switch my screens over so that you can see. Let's just get that down. Right. There we go. Can you all see that code? Hang on.
Yep, I can see it.
Yeah, 9404602. Amber, you're in. Okay, so Dodgy Dave, I love it. Okay, so this is our game, and it's called, as I say, it's called Block It, and it will ask you multiple choice questions. Now, as I am for this session, Willy Wonka, I like to have the best chocolatiers working with me. So I am going to be testing your knowledge of chocolate today. So you are going to be shown a chocolate bar out of its wrapper, and you are going to need to choose which of these, which bar it is. It could be a Mars bar, could be a Yorkie, could be whatever. Okay. When you play this game, once you've answered the question, you're going to be asked to open up one of 3 boxes. So in these boxes, you could. So I'm just going to switch this back. Of these 3 boxes, so you're going to need to identify the chocolate, select the answer from the options, click on a chest. Now the chests are up here, and it will either give you gold, which is good. It might be a bad thing. You might lose some gold, or you could steal gold from somebody else. So I suggest you steal gold from the person who has the most, if you want to win. And then you just tap to go on to the next question. We keep going. We're going to do 2 minutes. It's not long. And we're going to see who will win. So back to this. I think we're all in. We've got 32 of us. So I'm going to click start. You'll get some instructions on your screen, and then we will go. So, host code after 2 minutes wins. Good luck, everybody. Go. What chocolate is it? Sarah's off to a good start. Oh, Andy just stole from Sarah. Come on, Dodgy Dave. I'm voting Dodgy Dave at the moment. So, as you can see on the screen, we have 1 minute left. 1 minute left. Okay, 30 seconds. And a simple fan. Ten seconds. We get the last spot in. 8, 2, 1, 0. Let's see the final standings. Anna in third. Hey. Good job.
That swap is
Who swapped at the end?
the swap is really brutal.
The thing that's one of the things I really like about this game is that actually there's very little skill involved because you could lose it all so easily. I hope you enjoyed that. It was normally what I would say is normally when I do this, there's an option where you can click and it gives you a random name. It will say like Starlight or something like that. So it can anonymize it. So the children won't know who's won or who hasn't won in case they get, so it's up to you whether you think the children will feel comfortable knowing who's winning and if they can take it well. If not, you can totally randomize the names. It's a really nice, there wasn't really anything to lose in that game. It wasn't me checking whether you can do something or not. It wasn't me judging or assessing what you're doing. It was me getting you feeling engaged and a bit excited about it and basically getting your brain working. So let's just click on here. Yeah, gives you an instant shared purpose. We were all working together towards something. It links directly with my theme of my Wonka because of the chocolate. It grabs the attention. And normally, if we were in, say, my groups are quite small, kind of maximum of 6, we would probably have been talking and I don't know, it would engage that thing. Certainly in person, I've got laptops as well. So I do this in person and online. And it just warms up your thinking. So do we have any comments or questions about that game before we move on?
Yeah, please, David. I've only had brief exposure to Blockit, and I do like the fact that's the game I've used on Blockit. Actually, I do like the fact that the stealing levels the playing field. Did you create that yourself, or was that something?
No, there's the thing. I've never created a Blockit in my life.
Okay.
I've never created a Blockit in my life. All you do is when you go to Blockit, you can type in any sort of. In fact, I can show you. You can. So if I go back to here. So if I come back to this, I can. Here we go. So if you go to Discover, what should we do? What should we do a Blockit about? Do you think? Have you got an idea?
Sport.
Okay, sports. So if I just type in sport, I might need to refine it a bit more. But look, these are things that I'm creating. So I could be more specific, and I could say Winter Olympics or something like that. And so I'm sure someone will have made one on that, or football teams, or whatever. Someone's made one on it. And then you have a look. You can check and see. Some of them are better than others. Yeah, look, this is just which sport is this?
Okay.
And you just go through and you're just saying, oh, which brand is it? Have a look through the questions, and then you can just assign anyone you like.
And then you link that question set to the game you want it to be associated.
I would then just put host game. and then I choose the game I want. There's loads to choose from. Now, most of them are free, but if you pay for a membership, you get extra. So, for example, if you pay for a membership, you can have up to 1,000 people on one call. If you don't pay, I think you can have up to 60. So it's really good. And then you just literally just click on the game that you want. We did Gold Quest. You click host, and then it will come up with a code to share with your group.
Two things for me from this. First of all, we were talking, linking to our conversation at the start, David. This is something that's great for engaging online group rather than face to face. But I like the way that when you did the chocolate, straight away I'm thinking shrinkflation. Following shrinkflation, I could use that to link to a lesson on percentage change, etc. So you can form natural links from the starting point.
I think that's the thing. It's thinking creatively. Oh, in that exact way. Actually, what can we? Yeah, I can link that to this. What's something that kids know about, or that will be a bit fun that we will, that we can link it to, that is just low risk. Did you have a question, Greg?
Yeah. Do you need 2 screens? So it said something about looking at the host screen, and then I don't actually have my phone with me. I was on my laptop.
No, not at all. And that's just for the instructions. Do you know that when it came up host screen? No, you don't. The only thing that you may need, so for example, if you were in a group session, I presume that as a tutor, you would be sharing your screen anyway.
Yeah.
So it would come up on your screen, would be what would come up on my one, which was the leaderboard. And so you just have your screen to answer your questions. So in my classroom, I have a screen that is projected on, and they're on laptops.
Makes sense there. That makes sense. Thank you.
So yeah, this would be, there was a question that came up about a knowledge check. Yes, I would, a knowledge check or anything like that would come after my low risk task, because the low risk task to start is purely about settling. All of my children know every session they come and do with me starts with a low risk task, and that settles them. They know that they're going to come in and they're going to have some sort of game or activity that is totally low risk, that will just allow them to settle. So the next thing I'm going to talk about, which is one of the techniques that I use to get children back engaged, is short games. And yes, it does work abroad, by the way. Blookit does work other countries too. You can do it globally at the same time. So what I've tried to do, because I tutor maths and English, these are not all of the things. I basically made a list of the things that in maths, what I want all my children to know. I want my children to know their number bonds, 10, 100, I want them to know their factors, highest common factor, lowest common multiple. I want them to know their square numbers. I want them times tables, equivalent fractions. And with English, I need vocabulary. I need as many words as possible. I need them to know their word classes, be able to use words association, spellings, and motor skills for writing. So I use short games. Say we do a 10-minute work and I can see engagement is fading. Pens down, pencils down, we're doing a quick game. And it could be a times table game. It could be a synonym game of, words, what words mean this, what words mean that. It could be, right, we're going over our square numbers in a fun way. I have stopped the learning. I've done something which isn't unrelated. It's, I need to keep recovering these things. It's a way, and I'm just going to show you a quick video of some of the things that I do. Now, these are in person, but what I'm doing at the moment is looking at how I can, there are lots of games that can replicate these things online. So here's a quick video. So as I was saying, those are the basic skills that I want to keep recovering. I know if anyone's, I'm sure lots of people here are maths tutors, knowing your times tables, your factors, your square numbers, your cube numbers, your number bonds, everything. If the more children know these things, everything comes to them. And the same vocabulary, word association, word classes, knowing, even just going over figurative language in English, keeping going over those things so that they're there. If the learning is lagging, people are starting to disengage, stopping and doing a 5-minute activity, one of these fun games. Now you can use websites. There's so many different websites with games online. You could stop, right, we're doing a quick game. You could stop and do a quick book it on word classes, on synonyms, on factors, just to re-engage in something different, get them so that you can then return to the work. Any questions about the games at all? No, good. So quick poll we're going to do now. It's really bad English, I've written this actually. Which part of your group sessions do you find you get the most disengagement with? So we're going to do another poll. Grab your phone, tap the QR code. I do love a water pistol. I do Nerf guns as well. Water pistols are great. Yeah, which part of your session do you find you get the most disengagement with? Pick one of the options. So you just need to scan the QR code with your phone. And pick an option. Yeah, Lynn, I have spent many years doing one-to-one, and I won't lie, I love one-to-one, and I really do. And if I'm honest, I think it is, for many children, the best way of learning. But I also realize as a business owner that I can earn a lot more money doing groups, and I can earn a lot more money doing groups online. So this is to say, what I was talking to Gareth about earlier is how can I create that one-to-one feeling of being in person with me online in a group? Okay, so wow, there's quite a big yeah, Sarah, I do understand. I know a lot of people do think group tuition is best for, and it is good for somebody. It is good for some people, particularly children that find themselves being on the spot or things. But in terms of, in my opinion, in terms of working on the specific targets that a child needs to move on to or work onto, the progress you can make with a child is amazing. So if I'm waiting for a turn, I think that is very indicative of children nowadays, their impatience, their inability to wait. Independent work time and reading or writing tasks, I definitely find odd that we get quite a bit of in the first 5 minutes and the last 10 minutes. Does anyone have anything that they want to say about these, or any suggestions? Anyone thing that they've got as any suggestions or anything that they want to say about these parts?
I've recently moved to start to doing groups, and what I found in the first few weeks of I do them exclusively online, what I found was that I had to kind of revisit my time in the classroom in terms of reminding children about expectations, about are they allowed to call out, are they allowed to put their hands up? Because with one-to-one, you don't really have to do that kind of behavior management. You don't have to make it so explicit. And so what I did was I designed some backgrounds to go behind my Zoom. So one was like microphones off, hands up. One was like microphones on, hands up. One was microphones on, you can call out. And I found that cut out a lot of disengagement, because suddenly they knew exactly what the expectations were. and there was no ambiguity, and there was no louder children kind of talking over the top of me, or, you know, talking over the top of the quieter children. And so they're all a lot happier because they knew very, very clearly what those boundaries were. So I did find that helped.
Greg, I'm going to steal that. That is a really good idea. Really going to steal that. Yeah, I have to say, I've done that after doing one-to-one for quite a long time. Suddenly doing groups is like being a class teacher again, isn't it? You find yourself having to deal with behavior which you haven't had to deal with for quite a significant amount of time. Yeah, and do you know what? I think quite often children being made very explicitly aware of the expectation is exceptionally important. When they know, oh, Liz, what we got?
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. I think I may be here under false pretenses because I only do one-to-one, and I have no intention of doing group sessions. But I'm still getting loads of good ideas, so I hope you don't mind me being here. But no, I don't actually.
I have to say, Liz, my heart is in one-to-one. I'm there with you. I love one-to-one. I truly do. But I do all of these games that I do, because I have to say, even with one-to-one, an hour is a long time. And even if they're the most engaged child, you're on a task and you think, oh my God, I'm bored. You must be. Let's stop and do a, you know, and you can actually, there is actually a solo option on Blookit, just so you know. They can play the games on their own, and I still use those. So rather than clicking host a game, you can click solo. You can do it on an iPad, a laptop. So same sort of things work. But is there anything?
I have a little white fluffy dog. And,
lovely.
And the kids get hot chocolates and biscuits. And I find that first 5 minutes, just when they don't think they're doing anything, the most informative, really, because that's when we really talk about, you know, how their week's been, what they're finding tricky, all those sorts of things. Yeah. And
I totally agree, and that's my favourite. I do hot chocolates as well. Hot chocolate is the way that children come in. Everyone comes in, even in the height of summer, hot chocolate. And it isn't the hot chocolate, it's they sit down, they do squirty cream, marshmallows. It's me gauging where they're at. Do you know, when I said at the beginning, start with the child. I'm not saying today we're going to be doing, you know, today we're going to be doing simultaneous equations. Actually, I'm going to do what you need today. That's what's lovely about one-to-one. Let's have a chat. And they go, oh, we had this lesson today and it was really difficult and I didn't get it. And I say, do you want to go over it? And they go, oh, yes, please. And this is, some of the children are 8 or 9, or sometimes they're 13, 14. My question to you, I suppose, actually, and what I'm thinking myself is, how do we do that in a group? How do you get that feeling of kind of checking in, but when you're in a group, particularly online, it must be hard. I think in person, yeah, that would be because I would want to create that in a group. I don't know how possible that is.
I try and have as much fun as possible. If we can have a laugh, and that's not laughing at each other, that's laughing at something, you know. I always find that it's the parents ringing the doorbell that signal the end of the lesson. We get so absorbed in what we're doing, the hour just flies by, and the kids, no matter what age they are, very often say to me, no, that can't be my mum, can't be an hour.
And that's true. And Liz, that is so lovely to hear, because, you know, that's how I feel tutoring should be. I feel it should be laughter, it should be fun. If you get the fun and the laughter and the enjoyment, the progress just happens, and it happens, you know. Thank you so much, Liz. I hope, feel free to chip in, and I hope it's helpful anyway. Zoe.
Hi, yeah, I teach GCSE English predominantly. So for me, I think I'd actually put instructions and tutor talk, and I think it disappeared because it was so low, and I think everybody else was sort of going to more like the reading and writing tasks, where they were working independently. I have the opposite kind of thing, really. My students are they're quite well trained, but they're quite keen to get onto those independent writing tasks. And isn't it?
listening is not the best skill they have, is it?
They're like, oh, come on. I have sort of like, obviously, I've discovered what works better with each group and each kid, because you still got, I teach up to 8 students in a group.
Yeah.
So I don't go any more than 8, but I think that's the really sort of like the best point. I wouldn't go any more. But yeah, once I get to know them, I realise that sometimes they just need, some kids don't work. I mean, I was really bad at the verbal instructions until I saw them on the screen. It's just getting to know your kids and your students.
Yeah.
And like making sure that you've said it in many different ways and it's on the screen. But yeah, I give mine live feedback. We work on Google Slides and Google Docs.
Lovely.
So I give them live feedback, and I this is a weird one, but I use breakout rooms to let them go individually to work, so that they can put their hand up in a room.
Yeah. Do you know, I've seen this, someone was talking to me about this, about sending them to breakout rooms on their own so that you could meet with them.
Yeah.
And maybe that is, if you see someone, I suppose, if you see someone in your group that doesn't look okay in that first 5 minutes, do you put them into breakout rooms and pop in and see them?
Yeah, I rotate almost like, because what I find is, I mean, some of them have been with each other for a while now, but
yeah,
what I find is that some are just scared to ask still, even though it's a small group, even if they know each other. And that they're not, that they're struggling, because you can see that they're struggling on the slide. Yeah. So that way you just literally rotate round and they know that they're going to get their opportunity.
Yeah. Zoe, I'm stealing that one as well.
Yeah.
No, that's really good, because that is what I was talking to Lynn, I can't remember, about saying, how do you get that one-to-one time that you might need? There might be a child that needs it every session. I know I need to check in with you at the beginning of the session because you find this bit hard.
Yeah,
or,
I've got those, and I've got those that need more support. So it's a good way of differentiating by support.
Oh, great! Thanks, Zoe. Good one. And yeah, Gareth.
Yeah, a couple of things, David. Firstly, I love the dynamic nature of these group activities, and in that, this session isn't the time to debate ADHD. I know you've mentioned that briefly at the start of your presentation. Personally, I don't believe the statistics when it comes to ADHD. I know that's maybe a contentious issue. I think half the time nutrition is the issue. Young people loaded up on monster type drinks, but either way, regardless, I think engaging people, whether they do genuinely have a condition like that or whether it is down to nutrition, really gets them engaged. And from engagement, that leads to confidence boosting, which then leads to progress and results. So I just wanted to make that point. And secondly, I'm one-to-one, so I still want to transition to groups, and I've never taken the brave step of tutoring full-time. I've always done it alongside a private, working part-time. I'm going back into teaching full-time. Getting groups off the ground is the key for me. So I wanted to reach out to Champions Teacher, who's put a couple of comments on there. If they are listening, please take my number. I'll put it in the chat. Let's brainstorm and put ideas together. I know it's you've maybe not got the time to answer those questions. That's more focused on the business aspect rather than delivering an engaging lesson. So can I leave my number in the chat for Champions Teacher to reach out to me, please, David?
Yeah, I haven't got a problem with that at all. Thank you, Gareth.
Thank you, Gareth.
Yeah, I think the the idea. Oh, sorry. Yes, Champions. Yes.
Oh, sorry, I'm Anita. I just want to thank you, Gareth. It'll be good to touch base because it's something I'm struggling in, and I thought hopefully we can touch base a little bit on this call on how to transition from one-to-one to small moments. I would love any support if possible from anyone.
Now there is actually on YouTube, I don't know if you've ever been to the Tutors Association YouTube channel, but there is actually a video on there that Charlotte Watson did. Charlotte Watson runs exceptionally successful group tutoring, exceptionally successful, and she is kind of I would say she's kind of the pinnacle of group tuition. She's mastered it, she's amazing at it, but she actually does it's an hour-long video on there where she talks about how you make groups, fill groups. She kind of goes through all of it.
I've just put the link in the chat as well. I think it's an entirely different topic to like something that you can spend as long on.
Yeah.
If you haven't discovered our YouTube channel yet,
Yeah,
definitely
very
go and
good.
have a look, because there are hours and hours and hours of sessions like this over the last couple of years that we've put together that will help you across a broad range of subjects as well.
Yeah. But no, it is very good. Yeah, so I was about to say, I'll get back to on this, because ultimately this session is about engagement in those sessions, and hopefully, as I say, my group sessions have really taken off, have become very successful. But let's move on. So I think from what we were talking about earlier, now this is kind of what I call my engagement blueprint. How do you engage children? Now, it's from a few of the conversations we've just had now about knowing your children. So every time I take on a new child, I have this form that I fill in, basically. I put in as much information as I can. I meet with the parents, with the child, and I make notes on strengths, weaknesses, anything I can get about them, things that they like, things that they don't like. Because I want to know what makes them tick. Obviously, I will find it out when I work with them. But if you're doing one-to-one, that's fine to find out as you go. But if you're putting together a group, I like to put together a group with purpose. So I actually think, right, now you see these two pictures here. So when was it? It must have been last September. I decided I was going to start a new creative writing group on a Saturday, and I put out some feelers, an advert. Now this picture on the left is what I thought I was going to get. I thought, do you know what, I'm going to put it out there and I'm going to get some kids who love writing, who want to sit there and write beautiful stories. It's going to be this, you know, this amazing calm group. What I got was the picture on the right. I got the people signing up to my group were very excitable boys who didn't particularly love writing or sitting down. And when I talk about starting with the child, not my content, what I would teach the group of children who wanted to sit and write really long stories and do things was totally different to these boys. So I looked at my profiles of the 4 boys who I had in my group, and I found some things. So let me show you my first lesson that I taught with them. Has anybody heard of Italian brain rot? Because I had not. Sam, I'm sure you must have heard of tralali, tralala.
I've heard of it. I don't know what it is yet, so you can teach us.
It is this very, very bizarre computer game that children play on Roblox, which I'm sure you've all heard of Roblox and Robux and been pestered for them. And basically, these boys were disengaged writers, disengaged learners who had not the best attention span. So I thought this is something that's going to make them absolutely switch on to what we're doing. So I looked into, basically, Italian brain rot are these strange characters, a cup of coffee and a ballerina dress, you know, and they're just like a banana with legs, a crocodile that's an aeroplane, so I thought, how can I make that into a creative writing lesson, because they all love it. Have a look at this video. This is what I did for their first session.
Trallalero, tralala, shark with blue shoes, slides through the sea like he's got nothing to lose. Bombardino, crocodilo, engines roar, jet croc snapping through the ocean floor. Brr, brr, pat up him floating slow, cooler than ice, got nowhere to go. Trippy chopper, whiskers twitch, shrimp cat sliding through seaweed rich. Burbaloni, lalaloni, chillin' round, coconut capybara rolling on the ground. Banana dog, dolphin need a splash with flair, banana fin flying through the salty air. Trallalero, tralala.
Now, if you see the level of writing that I was presented with, and children that really didn't want to write at all, the minute I introduced these Italian brain rots, firstly, I started off with a booklet. what brain rots are these? I had no clue. They knew them all. Went through. We then named some random ones. I got them to design their own. We used adjectives to try and describe it. I then used AI to make me a worksheet. Oh, no worries, Lynn. See you soon. I then used AI to create a worksheet of missing adjectives for each of these characters. We put their descriptions into AI, and AI created the characters that they're drawn. It helps them refine their language, but it ended up with some really, really good engagement. So I think I might skip this one, actually. I'm going to quickly talk about how my sessions are structured. I think, as we were talking about earlier, we always start with a hot chocolate and a catch-up. It is a good opportunity for me to gauge how they are. We do our low-risk task, and I always try and have a hook, something that is going to really get the children excited about coming in. Something that's going to be like, oh, what are we going to get our teeth into? And we then do our tasks with breaks for our short core skills tasks. I like to make things as creative as possible. And we always kind of celebrate our work at the end, and I end each session with an exit ticket. So I can see we're running a bit of time. Here is just, I'm not going to go into these too much, but here are some of the activities that I do as my hooks. Some of the ones I do for maths and English. Now, Serena does a wonderful would you rather. Would you rather have 3/5 of this cake or or 4/8 of this? These comparisons of things, would you rathers, are a really good way of getting children to start looking into something and giving them reason to do it. I love a prop or a picture. Which word's the odd one out? Something to get them hooked into your activity at the beginning. So welcome to Wonka Creative Writing. Now, I know people go, oh, that's so much effort. It really isn't. Those things hanging from the ceiling were £5 from Amazon. The foil curtain, 2 of them, £3, Amazon. And I stuck something on the screen. It is, it looks more than it is. This is my first task when they come in after our low risk task. So it says, Wonka's chocolate creation. What do you imagine are the magical qualities of these chocolates? There's some easier ones and there's some harder ones. Obviously, hair repair eclair, I think I could do with. But there are some where you think, actually, what might a silver lining chocolate do? What's going to be its magical quality? I can't think what. Maybe a giraffe milk macaroon will give you a very long neck. But it's starting to get children talking about what we're doing, thinking about it before we start writing about it. So we did. I got the children to create their own. So what the activity we did was looking at expanded noun phrases, expanded noun phrases. But we then, a lot of tutors spend a lot of time on remember, understand, apply. I know Bloom's taxonomy is a bit who, and we like year 1 teacher training, but I still like it. Thanks, Julie. My biggest thing is creativity. Creativity isn't extra, It's often the doorway. So have a look at this. Oh, this one's not going to play, I don't think. Oh, it is.
Well, there's chocolate and there's chocolate, but only one 'cause makes your eyes pop out. There's chocolates. Put your hand into your pocket, get yourself some Wonka chocolate. Come now, I insist. You've never had chocolate like this. No, you've never had chocolate like this.
Okay.
Well,
So creativity in tutoring. Multiple pathways to the same goal. Personalization, playful practice with purpose, resourcefulness, confidence, building expression, problem finding, and problem solving. Okay, I think, I'm just going to quickly show you some activities that I do. All things that apply the knowledge and the skills that we've learned in a creative way to make something new. So don't be afraid to be a bit silly. Kids love it. This is what I finish with. I have these sheets. I stick a post-it note on each one, stick it through the printer, and they come out post-it notes printed. I ask the children to fill out how they're feeling for the session. It gives me feedback. I offer the opportunity to say to me, next time, can we? Today would have been even better if we, so that I can learn and get it a bit better next time. And it helps with my feedback. Please do get in touch if you want to talk about anything more that we've covered today. I think some of you have got some good contacts that you can talk about if you're wanting to start group sessions or expand them. But other than that, I am done. Sam, over to you.
Thank you so much, David, and thank you so much for such an inspiring session. I saw somebody write in the chat that they really want to come, Lisa, they want to come to one of your classes, and for years now I have personally wanted to one of your classes. Does anybody have any questions? Gareth?
Yeah, I mean, I think you've partly answered the question. I've forgotten your name, champion teacher, sorry. How do you transition from one-to-one to group sessions? Some brilliant marketing there, David. I watched that, and if I had children, if my children were younger, I do have children, if my children were younger, I'd want them to go to your classes because they look really fun and engaging. One question which isn't directly linked, it's more a business-minded question. I notice you've set up from home. Something that concerns me, setting up from home, particularly if it was for one-to-one, but now, regardless of whether it's for one-to-one or group lessons, what things did you put in place before you set up from home?
So I actually, first thing that I did was I decided that if I was going to teach from home, I needed a proper classroom. So I actually built we remortgaged, and I built a classroom in the garden. I've got a waiting room. I've got CCTV in this room, that room, everywhere. I've got a toilet. Children don't come into my house. That was my big thing. I didn't particularly want children inside the house. They come in through a side gate. They come into here. As I say, I've got full CCTV. In the waiting room, hang on, I'm just going to see. Yeah, I've got a waiting room, and the parents can wait in the waiting room. They can watch the session. It's got glass door, glass windows, so they can watch if they want to. So my big thing was getting insurance. Safeguarding with Holly was a really good thing to make sure that I was up to date with everything that I needed to be. The other thing I also did was I did pediatric first aid training, because I thought if people are going to be in person and leaving me with their children, I needed to make sure that I was it was safe to do so. So I have my DBS, that's on the wall. I have my safeguarding certificate on the wall, and I've got my pediatric first aid on the wall. And it was a case of I wanted somewhere that felt purposeful, like a classroom, and that I was covered as much as I needed to be in terms of their children being safe.
Do you know what a great answer? I mean, I don't know if it could go to all those lengths, but if I was a parent, and again putting my parents' hat on, you've given me confidence. The due diligence that you've obviously gone into has given me great confidence and left no stone unturned.
In terms of getting groups started, I actually purposefully, when I found children who I thought naturally gravitated towards each other or had similar skills, I suggested putting them together. So started off pairing children, and then a third one came in, and I was able to bring the cost down for people. If you'd like a paired session, I can bring the cost down a bit for you. And I knew the children would get on because I knew them and they were similar ability. So I purposefully put groups together rather than, looking at my current cohort. And when I did lose a session, so say a kid says, oh, we're done now, we're going to secondary school, we don't need you anymore. I had a group session, right, I'm going to turn that into a group. I might start it with one kid, but soon another one will come along, and then another one, and it spirals from there, really.
It's funny if you're limited to what you can do one-to-one. I mean, you can't do any games, buckets. I mean, you can play one-to-one games, but groups.
To me, it's more of a money thing. It was more of a case of I can work less hours.
Mm-hmm.
I currently do 25 hours a week of tutoring, so I would like to reduce my hours, if I'm honest, because 25 hours of tutoring is quite a lot for me personally. So I would like to reduce, if I can do a few more groups and a few less one-to-ones. I am not as young as I used to be. So
Younger than me.
Thanks, Gareth. Yes. Who else did we have? Greg?
Yes. Thank you so much for a brilliant session. I've got a whole page full of notes here, which I'm going to implement. So really, really super helpful. Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
David, really, really appreciate it. Cheeky, I know, but two questions, if that's all right. Yeah. First one was, I'm in the early stages of building groups, and I've done exactly as you've done. I've mainly paired together pre-existing one-to-ones. What I want to do is I want to move to a groups first model where parents assume they're going to be in groups first, but because I'm mainly 11 plus prep, it's quite a linear process. You start 12 to 18 months out, and then there's a skills accumulation, and then the exam, and you say goodbye. I don't know if you've come across the problem of, if you have a one-to-one and they've been with you, say, for a couple of months, and they built up all these skills, how then do you bring a new person in to pair with them who may not have had the skills that person's already acquired, and then they might be at different levels? How do you manage that? If that's
I probably wouldn't. Would be my answer, is that if I do prep for one-to-one, I do prep for 11 plus. So I do 11 plus prep. I also do entrance exam for secondary schools. And I would generally only take children on, for example, I would either take them in at the beginning of year 4, at a very push. I might take them on at the beginning of the year 5 if they're very good, but I would expect them to come in at the beginning of that. And I think if they were to come in at a push, the expectation is they would have to catch up. But it would be, I can put you in this group. However, maybe you need some extra one-to-ones to catch you up before I put you in the group, or maybe alongside that. But it would be an expectation that you would need to catch up. But alternatively, I probably wouldn't put them in that group if they, it's 11 plus. There's a huge market for 11 plus at the moment, and people are getting in earlier and earlier. Lots of people getting in year 4 and saying, right, they're starting their journey then. But I wouldn't compromise a group just to get an extra child in. Personally.
Yeah, I was leaning towards predefined intake windows anyway. So that's the conclusion I was coming to. Just look at what other people do and trying to work out what works for me as well. If there is time, could I ask a really quick second question as well? I don't know how much time I got. You've given so much of your time today already. I don't know why I didn't think of this before, because I used to do it all the time in classroom, but the core skills game breaks. Absolutely nicking that, if that's all right. So I'm looking mainly upper key stage 2 English, year 5, year 6. topics. Are there any online games that help to embed those core skills?
So, for example, it's the standard ones. Like, I love a Wordle. Do you know Wordle for spelling? Awesome, love to do those. I think there are also, let me just try and think. So, if you've ever done, I know people probably have done this quite a lot. Crystal Explorers is a BBC one, which is great, and it covers. They're little games that cover lots and lots of different skills. Blookit have loads. So every single upper key stage 2 objective, Blookit has a thing for. Obviously, there's Kahoot. That's always a good one. Top Marks always have good. It's just the standard one. But also Twinkle Go games are always good. If you've got a Twinkle subscription, Twinkle Go games are great for stuff like that. But I'm trying to think of anything else that we do. Yeah, that's kind of all that's in the top of my brain at the moment.
That's brilliant. Thank you. Thanks for your help.
No worries too. Champion.
Sorry, my name's Asmita. I just don't know how to change it. But I really enjoyed your session, David. I think it was really inspiring. So thank you so much for your time and all these guidance that you've offered. Really appreciate that. I really want to come to your tutoring sessions. They just sound amazing.
You know what, though? That's what I say about this thing about don't teach, inspire. It's if you can get people wanting to do it, they'll do it better.
Absolutely. It's just lovely. I just have 2 quick questions. So so I have lots of one-to-ones, but I want to now, I just don't have enough time to serve all of them, and I do want to transition to groups. So how did you manage to do that? So you mentioned that you kind of offer deals.
I was full up with one-to-one, huge wait list. At one point, I had 50 people waiting for one-to-one sessions because I just kept getting, and I thought, this is silly. And someone said to me, if you've got that many people waiting, you're either not charging enough. So one thing I did do was whack my prices up. If you've got a wait list, put your prices up. Like it's, but equally, what I started to do, luckily, you do get a natural fall off at certain points. So whatever stage you go up to, there will be a natural fall off of people where they go to the next stage. If you do GCSE and they go on to A level, you will get a session appear and you think, oh, 5 o'clock on a Monday's just appeared. I'm going to set it up as a group. And you look at what you've got. I've got people on my wait list. Can I group them together? Are there a group of people who are wanting to do the same thing? Have I got a group of low ability, whatever, or high ability this? Do they naturally go together? And then you approach them. I have a group available at this. It is this amount. I would always advise charging more than half of whatever you're doing, because it's a lot more work. If you've got 2 people in a group, I find more than twice the work. And if you've got a group of 4, I still charge the same as if it were a group of 2. You still do the same amount of work. So I would then actually, so do you know about grouping with purpose? Look at the people you've got waiting and make a group for them. So when I'm looking, I've just had a session become available 6 o'clock on a Monday. And I'm looking at my wait list and I'm going, it was a one-to-one session. If I can put one more group in, I don't have to work a Saturday anymore. And so I'm going to look at my people on my wait list. I don't go first, I choose who fits me best. And if I can find a group of people who are all looking for the same thing, or actually we're all going for an entrance exam to a certain school, I'm going to pick you all. I'll offer you don't have to take it. And it might be that you start that group with 1 kid, but it will soon become 2 when someone comes, and it will soon become 3. And very soon just have the confidence to start it. But if you can group it, and do say to people, sell people why it is going to work well for them. So the group that I started was specifically for a school, we've got a school locally that's an independent school. I knew I had 4 children who were at the same school. I said, I am starting a group for children at this school in this year. And they all came to me. So
that's a great idea. That's amazing. Thank you, David. And just really one more, a really quick question. So I kind of do upper key stage 2 at primary school.
Yep.
So, and you mentioned the 11 plus, and I do have quite a few children who I tutor one-to-one. Do you recommend any resources that are already out there that are quite good to use for these one-to-one sessions?
Atom Learning's really good. I really like Atom Learning. The CGP books are really good. I love the 10-minute tests. They're a great way of doing a short bursts of things. I also like the Twinkle. Again, I know I'm not a Twinkle ambassador, just before you say. Twinkle have really good 11 plus resources. They really do. Comprehensions. And also CGP Plus is it's like £3 a month, and they have loads of 11 plus resources and things. But probably I also like Bond books are also very good. They're not the most interesting, but they do cover everything.
Okay. Oh, thank you, David, so much. This has been so insightful and really inspiring. So thank you so much.
No worries. Gareth, did you have another question?
Yeah, only quickly, because you partly answered it during Amita's question. It's more of the business aspects again. Pricing, I quite agree. There has to be that parallel. Your pricing structure for your one-to-ones has to be commensurate with what you charge for groups, and I've got 50% in mind. I know there's a huge regional divide in pricing, from your 25 quids A-level students doing a bit of tutoring to your 150 quids if you live in the heart of London. I'm putting my prices up for one-to-one because I want to price myself out of the market, so we can focus on groups. So do you mind me asking what you charge? Of
course. I charge my one-to-one price is £60, and my group price is 40.
Okay, so 40 regardless of whether it's did you have a maximum size?
So at the moment, and it's only my personal choice at the moment, because obviously I can fit 6, but I like 4 personally. For me, I like 4 is what I feel that I can give I like to feel at the end of a session that I have really made a difference. I kind of beat myself up a bit if I haven't. And I love 4. 6, I don't ever quite feel that I've really got to everyone in an hour. But I have capacity for 6. I don't think I'd go beyond 6. But I love a group of 4. Group of 4, I just think is quite nice, but that's just my preference. And for me, £120 for the hour is nice.
So do you market 4 or 4 to 6?
4 at the moment. Well, but my thing is though, because I generally approach people and say I'm putting together a group of 4 because I know I've got them on my wait list, or they've expressed interest. So on my website you can sign up. So I've currently got 200 people on my website who put in all of their details and all their information, and I can go through and I can pretty much cherry pick people who I think will go together. It's about knowing the kids, getting some information about them and thinking, I think this group would work. I also get kids to come in and do a trial session with me so I can find a bit about them, because personalities and things like that. So but that's for me, I'm not looking to, if I'm honest, I'm not looking to be a huge company. I want to do the tutoring myself. I don't want to employ tutors. I love teaching. I love doing what I do, but I just want to make sure that I make enough money and that I don't burn myself out, because I burnt myself out as a deputy. I worked too hard and I burnt out, which is one of the reasons I started doing this. So one of my ways of managing my burnout is moving to groups, not totally, because I do love one-to-one, but I do need the money. Like, if it means I can work a few less hours and have a better home life balance and things.
So by the sound of it, if you've got so many people in your books, none of your enquiries are questioning your pricing structure, 2/3 of the one-to-one.
Yeah, and no, no, not at all. No, I've had no one question, and I will probably put my prices up again in September.
Yeah.
It's but I do live in I live in quite a good area for independent schools, grammar schools. You know, it just does. And I'm out at I'm Chelmsford, like not far from London.
Yeah, no, well, no, it's reassuring. I'm not pulling and pricing myself like that.
Do you know, the thing for me is know your worth, because I'm worth it. Do you know that? And that really is the thing. My sessions are worth it, and I think I could charge more, and people would pay it. But
confidence. Thank you so much, David. As everybody said, it's been a great session.
Pauline.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask a quick question. I've struggled to get group tuition together. So you were saying to start with one child and then bring in other children. So when you bring in the first child, are you setting them at the rate of £60, and then if another child comes on,
I would start running it at 40. I would just take a hit of, it won't be for long. If you're putting a group together and it's got one kid in it, it won't be long before you get another one. And the difference between 60 and 40 is not huge. I'm still getting 40 quid for it, but it's an investment long term in the fact that once this group is up and running, it is going to run and run and run. Because once people hear about it, they tell their friends, word of mouth gets crazy. You put stuff online about it. I think don't ever worry. I would quite happily run it for a short while at £40 rather than getting 60 for the and it will soon pay for itself, I think.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sorry, Claire, I realised you've been waiting. Apologies.
No problem at all. Hi, everyone. Thanks very much for that, David. It was really helpful. Just a couple of things. The first one I was going to say about charging is I think it's really important to put up I'm in London, central London, so it's kind of a lot of high net worth, but I think it's really important to put it up a tiny bit, you know, £4 or £5 here or there, sort of regularly, because then you can, you know, I started off at about £70 and now up over £100, but if you do it little increments every 2-3 terms, then people just really don't mind, and
I've done £5
and they appreciate it.
I've done £5 a year for the last 4 years. Every year I go up £5 generally.
No, and nobody ever complains, you know, and it's just like
anyone. I've never had a complaint. Someone even said to me, you could double your prices and we'd pay it. But I do feel primary tuition doesn't quite, people still, there is not a stigma. People don't expect to pay as much for primary as they do for secondary. If you're GCSE A level, they will pay, you know, but if you say primary, they kind of go, and I do still have people who expect me to do it for £20. And I say,
say no.
What I say to people is that you're not paying for an hour of my time, you're paying for 20 years of my experience. And that's what you're paying for. You're not paying for my time, you're paying for my outcome, which is what I do.
Success. You're paying for success is what you're paying for. The
absolutely.
other thing I was just going to say is the CGP books are brilliant, but they have they have the online codes on the front, so they're amazing for group tuition when you can present your screen and people can annotate on them. So I find those brilliant. And the other one I was going to say is WordWall. It's really great as a quick quiz game if anyone wants to do online groups. WordWall, it's got tons of English and maths on it, and it's fantastic, and they're very quick and short.
WordWall,
WordWall. Okay, thanks everyone. I've got to go as well, but that was amazing. Thank you. Cheers. Bye. Thanks. Bye.
And thank you so much, David. Right, we're going to close the session for today because we've overrun by quite a lot.
Sorry.
Thank you, everybody. Oh no, it's perfectly okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And thank you, David, for such a thoughtful and inspiring session as well. I don't know how many of you know, I run events for the Tutors Association, but I am not a tutor myself. But I do have a son in year 5, and I have taken a lot away myself that I will be able to just use regardless.
I would love to work with him. He sounds right up my street.
He's amazing, especially like I reckon he could probably sit a GCSE history exam already. He's mad, like his World War II history knowledge is outstanding. But yeah, it has, your sessions are so inspiring, and hopefully everybody has found today really useful. I will email everybody with the link to the YouTube video as soon as I've processed it, and the link to get your CPD certificate as well. Probably, hopefully by the end of today, if not tomorrow morning. But yeah, thank you all so much for joining us, and thank you, David.
No worries. Thank you.
Have a good day, everybody.